I know. Didn't I see you eating poop earlier? Okay. Okay, you wanna go catch the ball? You're still a puppy, you're a giant puppy. Okay, all right, let's go play fetch. So last year I posted a video on my YouTube channel about vacations. I will post the link here. And in that video, I talk about why vacations are important, what you get out of them. I talk about what they mean to your mind, what they mean to your spirit, what they mean to your relationships. And I share some techniques that I use when I am about to go off the grid for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever that time frame is. And one of the techniques that I highlighted was my out of office message. My out of office message basically says, I am going off the grid. I am not responding to emails, I'm not taking calls, I'm not taking meetings. And on my return, I'm going to highlight all my emails and just delete them. So if you want to reach me or if you're trying to get a message to me, reach out to me on this date. I do this because I don't want to go on a 3-week break where I am thinking and strategizing and reading and writing and coming up with all these different things just to come back and have to sit at my laptop for 2 weeks answering emails that are 3 weeks old. I never missed anything important. No one ever got fired. Nothing ever broke. People seem to understand and respect this. This always got a lot of attention from people, like, I can't believe you do that, I could never do that. Some people say, oh, you know what, I should try that. Always interesting to see the different reactions that you get to something like that. And I'm sharing this story with you for 2 reasons. First, it's a great microcosm of my career at Google. When I joined Google, there were lots of guiding principles, and you know some of the more famous ones like don't do evil, which I never really paid attention to because I'm a pretty evil person. But the one that has stuck with me since I heard it was to focus on your users, everything else will follow. I heard Larry and Sergey say that all the time, and I did that. And in the example that I just laid out, I was focusing on my users. My users could care less that I am answering emails or that I am responding to someone's request for my time. What they care about is what's inside my head. What they care about is coming up with new ideas, new strategies, new techniques, new things, new approaches so that we can focus on education and equity and diversity and inclusion. That's what they care about. And so I did that. And the second reason I'm sharing this story is because yesterday I posted my last off-the-grid message at Google. After more than 14 years at Google, my last day is today. Now, this isn't my choice. Several months ago, during one of Google's reorganizations, it was determined that my role wasn't vital and therefore was eliminated. Now, I could have applied to other positions on the education team or other positions at Google, but those positions were more focused on internal processes and internal work, and they also had to be in Mountain View, California, or New York. And I just wasn't interested in any of those roles. I know where my strengths are, and that's what I want to focus on. I know how to take a hint, so my time at Google is done. Now, it's anticlimactic and not surprising at all that the time I spent at Google has been the most significant time in my career. Being part of an organization that has quickly had an impact on billions of people would have been thrilling enough. But I also had a chance to be part of the education effort, and I helped start it. And it was just 2 of us that launched this thing, and we've had this tremendous impact on the role that technology plays in education. And for that, I will always be grateful. Everything from when Jeff Keltner and I went to go meet with Arizona State and Adrian Sainer about the potential of using what we used to call Google for your domain at the university, which started this whole thing, to getting on the road with Dana for 6 months, just her and I, packing up boxes and traveling to offices and different conferences, trying to convince tech directors and superintendents that this Chromebook thing was a good idea and that they should take advantage of it. 2, getting a chance to speak at events around the world and working with some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. The time that I spent at Google, to me, was magical. Now, of course, I have hundreds of stories of my time at Google that will stay with me forever. And I am definitely going to be sharing lots of those stories throughout the coming months and years because I've learned some important things during my time here. But there are 2 stories that I want to share right now. And the first one happened really early in my career, back like in 2006, when I went with the CIO, who I was working for at the time, to what we used to call a GPS meeting, which was go present something. That was a nickname that meeting had, which was a meeting that people would come in and present an idea to the Google leadership team, which was Larry and Sergey and Eric and Jonathan and that crew there. So that's the meeting that I went to. And I'm wearing my black t-shirt, my jeans, and my, Stan Smiths, and I'm feeling uncomfortable and nervous. And as people were walking into this meeting, I felt more uncomfortable because first, nobody looked like me. And second, no one was dressed like me. They were all wearing professional business casual clothes. They had slacks on and very crisp button-down shirts and nice shoes on. And I'm sitting there in my jeans and Stan Smiths thinking, I don't belong here. What am I doing here? This is not what I thought this was. I don't fit in. And just as I was having that thought, Sergey walked in. And Sergey's wearing red, bright-ass shorts, an orange neon tank top. His hair's all messed up, and he's got like Air Force Ones with the shoelaces all untied. And I was like, nope, I like it here. It was confirmation for me that it didn't matter what you look like. It didn't matter how you dressed. What mattered at Google was what was inside your head. And that moment propelled me through my career at Google and something that I still strongly believe in today. And the second story is more of a general observation or reflection of my time at Google, and I think it's important to share at this point. As some of you who know me, you know that I am blunt, I am honest, there is no filter, I am me 24 hours a day. I always speak my mind. And in all the time that I've been at Google, as a public figure, as someone who stood up on stages and has given thousands of presentations, have talked to dozens of reporters, have been in interviews, have had New York Times reporters follow me around for the day. In all of that, Google never, not once, told me what I can say or what I shouldn't say. Ever. They never told me to tune it down. They never told me to, maybe you should say this instead of that. And I've spoken in the White House in front of the president and the first lady, and Google never said a thing about my 10-minute speech. I don't know if many people get an opportunity to be like that, but because of that, I will always be grateful to Google for allowing me to not only just find my voice, but also to use my voice. So what now? Well, I respectfully disagree with some of the leadership team at Google. I think that my voice matters today more than ever. I think that my focus and my experience and all the energy that I have around inclusion and diversity and equity and access issues in education, both in K-12 and in higher ed, are important to focus on right now. So I'm going to focus on those issues. I believe we're at a breaking point. I believe we are at a sea change of what is possible when it comes to not only social justice issues, but also education. The urge to start doing things in a different way is deep in every conversation that I've had. The call to use education to disrupt poverty, to disrupt hate, to disrupt racism has never been louder. And we have an opportunity to use this time to bring real significant transformation to equity, diversity, and inclusion. Those of us who are advocates for equity and inclusion and diversity in education and business have a responsibility to turn up the heat, especially for students who are growing up the way I grew up. We can't miss this opportunity. In education, if we continue to talk about grades and assessments and lesson plans and worksheets and using devices in classrooms in passive and controlling and compliant ways, we are missing the window. If we are talking about using technology but just laying it on top of the current system and just taking the classroom model and converting it to online and doing the exact same thing, we will fail. If we miss this opportunity to elevate inclusion, diversity, and equity in education and in the business world, we will never forgive ourselves. And so that's going to be my drive, that's going to be my passion, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So I'll see you guys out there.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.
This fall, man, this is really tough. This fall, I'm taking my talents to